Harmon because Martha Carroll's husband, Wayne Carroll, asked if he would represent the case and explain to the board what he wants to do.
Mhm.
And he has had a death in the family, and that has incapacitated him for right now. And he wants, so is it okay with the rest of you that Mr. Harmon present that case to us? Item 1.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So item 1, submitted by Martha Carroll, and it deals with 4 pieces of property on 9th Street between 7th and 8th Avenues.
Mhm.
And they want it changed from commercial to residential to make financing easier or possible or whatever. Tell us what we need to know about this, Mr. Harmon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Alexander. And good afternoon, board members.
Good
Um,
afternoon.
as Dr. Alexander
Mhm.
said, I'm standing instead for Mr. Wayne Carroll. He's representing his mother. She is in a home and he's handling her affairs via power of attorney. But due to a death in the family, he's unable to be here or call in today. As Dr. Alexander succinctly put it, these 4 residential properties, they have homes on them. They have people living in them. It's been this way for years. This is essentially a no change situation. These properties are for sale, with the proceeds used to fund Miss Carroll's hospitalization stay. And the buyer of these properties can obtain residential financing, but cannot obtain financing on commercial property. So the Carroll solution is the easiest thing to change this property from commercial to residential, as it is residential housing and has been for the foreseeable past. Um, they're not going to change anything. They're not changing lot lines, no resurvey. They're not tearing anything down, not building anything new. Everything should stay exactly as it is, except for the zoning designation of the property. Um, they presented the rezoning. As with any rezoning, as Attorney Payton just told us, we are accompanied by a development plan. You'll see that on the 3rd page after their application, where you've got the properties listed, you've got the maps, got the addresses, all the site plan requirements appear to be in here with order. And um, essentially, without beating a dead horse, that's just sums up the whole thing. Nothing's changing on the property or the ownership or the use or the size or the boundaries or anything except for the zoning. They'd like to
Mhm.
change from commercial to residential so their buyer can obtain financing to buy the properties.
So the only areas down there between between 6th Avenue and 9th Avenue, is that the only block that would be residential?
I know the parts on the opposite side of the street. You can see from their parcel map there, those are all residential houses occupied by tenants. If you'll notice across the alleyway from 723, there's a local Bell South or AT&T facility there. I would have to assume that is a commercial or an institutional zoning of some sort. But I know everything on the other side of the street is on residential. And whereas everything back toward 9th Avenue or US 11 is obviously commercial.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions of Mr. Harmon regarding this property? There are 4 pieces of property: 723, 725, 727, 729, 9th Street. If anybody has a question, would you unmute yourself and talk to us? Then just for a little technical reminder, when you make a motion, the proper way to do that is to say, I move that such and such happen, not I make a motion or I want to make a motion.
Mhm.
Just I move that such and such be done. So with that, the chair will entertain a motion to dispense with this particular item 1.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move we recommend the approval of the rezoning to R3 for the properties at 723 9th Street North, 725 9th Street North, 727 9th Street North, and 729 9th Street North.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Is that Mr.
I'll
Moore?
second.
Okay. Did you get that, Vonda?
Yeah.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded that this board will approve to send to the city council approval of the application to rezone these properties from commercial to residential. You've heard that motion. Is there any discussion? If so, unmute yourself and talk to us. Okay, I don't hear anybody wanting to say anything about it, so I'll call for the question. Those who are in favor of that motion to recommend approval to the city council, would you, Ivana, you want to just call the roll?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Cynthia Rowe,
Aye.
Lynn Lewis,
Aye.
Tamarain Norris,
Aye.
Eugene Brooks,
Aye.
Alfred Moore,
Aye.
Dr. Alexander.
Aye. Is that 6?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Those who are opposed, I guess there's nobody out there in the audience who wishes to oppose this application.
Dr. Alexander,
Uh-huh. Mr.
this is
Harper.
Tom speaking. There's no one in attendance at City Hall to speak in favor of or opposition to this motion.
Okay, thank you. Then with that, the board is in favor of that motion. So that motion passes unanimously. The development plan. Shan, would you like to just speak to this development plan to help us out here?
Yes, ma'am. The zoning ordinance requires that anytime a piece of property is rezoned that a development plan be approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission. So in this instance, the development plan was put together by Mr. Harmon, it looks like, and it meets the technical requirements. There's really no action or no development going to be placed on the property. It has 4 existing houses on the property, but so the development plan is to continue the uses of as residences, and the addresses are listed on there. There's a zoning map attached to it with the lots, so it meets the plan. So we would request that the board move to adopt the development plan.
Okay, does anybody have any questions of Mr. Payton? Then the chair will entertain a motion to dispense with this preliminary development plan.
Madam Chair, I move the adoption of the development plan.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Norris and seconded by Mr. Brooks, was it?
Yes.
That the board approve this development plan for those properties just named in the application for rezoning. You've heard that motion. Is there any discussion? I hear none. So those who are in favor say aye. Well, that's okay. Call the roll, Vonda, please.
Lynn Lewis,
Aye.
Cynthia Rowe,
Aye.
Tamarain Norris,
Aye.
Eugene Brooks,
Aye.
Alfred Moore,
Aye.
Dr. Lydia Alexander.
Aye. Okay, that takes care of items 1 and 1A. Now, item 2 and 3 are very closely related. One deals with the actual rezoning. Did you say from I-6 to I-6, Shan?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the resurvey plat and the development plan. We'll consider those three things separately. Okay,
And we have Mr. Charlie Beavers too, right up there to the, Mr. Charlie Beavers representing the developer on this matter.
okay, Mr. Beavers, would you tell us what we need to know?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. This is a okay. Can y'all hear me okay? All right, good. Thank you. Thank you, sir. This is a 47-acre tract on the corner of Powder Plant and Academy, owned by U.S. Steel. It does carry the designation of I-6 zoning now. What we're asking is that it be zoned to I-6 with the approval of the preliminary development plan that has been submitted with the application. The purpose of that is that we understand your zoning ordinance to require in a zoning of property to I-6 that it be that a preliminary development plan be first submitted along with the zoning application to this planning commission for its recommendation, both the zoning and the preliminary plan to city council. And so we are going through that process now. And if it is, if you deem it appropriate to recommend this to city council, then we will go to city council for the zoning and the preliminary development plan. Then we'll be back to you with the final site plan when it'll be coming up next month. This is for a warehouse and distribution facility that will be a 278,000 square foot building, and quite a nice and significant development for this area.
And all those other areas across the street from that property and around commercial, I mean I-6.
I think the bulk of the area is I-6, and Mr. Harmon is shaking his head in the affirmative on that. And again, this property is really already been given the I-6 zoning category. We're simply doing this procedurally so that we can comply with the specific provisions of your zoning ordinance. Requires a site development plan, and that didn't happen when it was originally zoned. And so we're coming through just to sort of formalize that approval of the site development plan.
So it's basically correcting what was done before. Is any of that area cleared yet?
It's vacant land. I don't think any work has been done on it yet.
And Dr. Alexander, this is
trees.
Yeah, Dr. Alexander, this is Shan. The property, when it was rezoned initially, we did a development plan for the large Amazon facility. So this facility wasn't in anyone's mind. So that's why it's really not a correction now that coming back, and it's almost like an amendment to the development plan, but
that's probably accurate, yeah. And we would have to come to you with an amendment if we did it that way, because the way the ordinance is written, since it would be not in compliance with the final that had been approved because it just wasn't there at all. So as I say, we're just making sure we've dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, and getting this done in accordance with your regulations.
But the main thing is that the development plan is being added to it.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Now that would take care of items 2 and 3, right?
I'm not looking at my agenda.
actually it'll be 2 and 2A according to mine. Then item 3 will
same addresses are
surveyed.
listed. Same addresses are listed under 3.
Yes, ma'am. And 3 will be the resurveyed plat. So there are 3 actions. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Recommend rezoning, approve the preliminary development plan, and approve the resurvey plat.
I got you. Okay. Does anyone have any questions regarding this application? Is there any property left down there that U.S. still owns?
Peter, is there any property left that U.S. Steel owns in the immediate area?
There is a small amount that is off near Parkway.
a small amount of property off of Premier Parkway. I'm advised by U.S. Steel representative who's here, Peter also.
Off of Premier, is that going up toward the high school?
For the high school, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's a little jump from this property though, isn't it?
That separated from this property? Yes. Yes, ma'am. So I suppose the answer to the question may be better that this is all of their property in the immediate area.
In the, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So with that, we'll need a motion regarding the rezoning from I-6 to I-6 with the development plan.
Madam Chair, this is Mr. Norris. I move that we recommend or approve the recommendation to rezone the property to I-6 as well as the preliminary development plan for the property.
Second.
Yeah, and that's at 1051 Academy Drive and 1001 Powder Plant Road. I'm sorry.
Okay. You've heard that motion and the second. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, then I'll call for the vote. Those who are in favor of recommending to the city council that this property, 1051 Academy Drive and 1001 Powder Plant Road, be rezoned from I-6 to I-6 with the development plan, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those who are opposed, say no. I don't hear any no's, so if it's okay, I'll declare that motion approved unanimously. The other is the resurvey plat for those same properties. What do we need to know about it?
Well, Madam Chairman, Dr. Alexander, this is simply taking this 47 acres and platting it into a separate record map so that it's no longer a meets and bound property, but would be a surveyed, recorded, platted lot, which we believe is appropriate to be in compliance with the subdivision regulations of this city.
Okay. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Or any comments to make?
Dr. Alexander, this is Ron Gilbert. We reviewed the plat and we have no issues from
Okay.
a
Thank you,
zoning
Mr.
compliance standpoint.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Okay, with that, then the chair will entertain a motion to dispense with this item. It's a resurvey plat for those properties.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the resurvey plat for 10051 Academy Drive and 1001 Powder Plant Road.
Anybody reading these
Second.
minutes would swear that only you and Mr. Moore and I in this meeting.
I think they make their presence known when they vote, Madam Chair.
Amen.
Okay. You heard that motion that we approve this resurvey plat for the 1051 Academy Drive and 1001 Powder Plant Road. I meant 1001, not the same thing as 01. So we have that motion to recommend this to the city council. Well, we don't have to send this to the city council, do we? The
No,
reason-
ma'am, you're just approving it yourself. That is your
Yeah.
function to approve this plat.
Okay, then is there any discussion on that motion? Then there being none, those who are in favor, say aye.
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 Those who are opposed, say no. I don't hear any no's, so I'm going to declare that motion as being carried unanimously.
We
Item
thank
4
you
is
very
our-
much. Thank you.
Item 4 has already been handled administratively, so we don't really have to go into that. Does anybody have any questions about today or anything else we need to discuss?
I'm sorry I was late. I
Well,
apologize for it.
Thank you for that, but at least you were doing something constructive at home, right?
Yeah, cleaning up for the old lady. She's still under the weather.
Oh, really?
Thank you, folks.
Yeah.
I hope she's doing better though.
Well, she's better. Yes. Mhm.
Mhm. Okay, with that then,